Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock podcast featuring Dr. London Smith. He's a medical physician on a mission to make you listen to every medical condition that exists in this dimension. Introducing your host, Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast, where we discuss fitness and health, and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, drlondonsmith.com. I would like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as humoral immunity and bottle of mayonnaise, so I'll try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Dr. London, I am so excited to talk about the theme of the day. We've done this for every episode of the podcast, but we always have a theme. The theme of the day is the topic of the day. And so, Dr. London, could you talk about the importance of the topic of the day?
When it comes to the topic of the day, you want to look historically at when the topic of the day first began. And that was in 1873. There was an inventor who was in his basement tinkering around. He had a big ball of electricity in his hand, and he was like, "What is this?" And he threw it in the air, and it blew into a banner that spelled out the topic for that day, which was, it's 1873.
Oh, wow. That is why the theme of the day is the topic of the day.
Topic of the day, yes. Round of applause, thank you. And as everyone curls up with their kids because of course, I should say, for all of our listeners, if you're new here, most of our listeners will hear the topic of the day from us, and then they'll take it to their preschool students and have them sit in a little semicircle, crisscross applesauce, and they'll listen to the lessons of the topic of the day, or whichever theme it is that day.
Well, the theme of the day is the topic of the day.
This today.
But the topic
yes.
of the day will never be the theme of the day. Because there is...
it hasn't been. It's one of these never say never situations.
And I will say, just to get to it, I know you're all wondering, what is the secondary theme of the day? And
the backup
theme of the
dies.
day, it is fratricide. That is when a person, murders their sibling. That's the backup theme of the day.
Yeah, and so for all you preschoolers who are huddled up and really excited to learn, I guess we do have to explain. Do we have to explain it further than that?
No, I mean there's no additional explanation. It is.
Yeah, I know, but that's
is
on
the
your
murder
end.
of your sibling. It's very simple. These kids will definitely understand it.
When children who have siblings come to a certain age, they get feelings. And sometimes those feelings cause their eyes to kind of go all red and glaze over, and they acquire a lust called bloodlust. All right, Cameron, we have a sponsor. It's Caldera Lab, backed by a leading clinical trial where 9 out of 10 men experience healthier and visibly improved skin. Caldera Lab has the tools to unlock your best first impression and confidence. So we actually have an exclusive offer today for our audience. You can try for yourself and learn why so many men trust Caldera Lab for their skincare needs. Use code JOCKDOC at calderalab.com for 20% off their best products. So one of the great things about Caldera Lab is that they don't test on animals. But one of the downsides of that is that we have, if you've listened to past episodes, you'll know that one of the animals that they don't test on is a rat that we personally know called Cal. He couldn't get work with them.
Yeah, Cal was really hoping to be tested on, and unfortunately they were like, well, we don't test on animals. Cal was out of the job and moping around, and we sort of, picked him up, helped him get off the streets, I guess.
Now, we tried, help him become an influencer, and then he got canceled, and so now we're just honestly trying to find a way to get through each day with Cal, because Cal is a lot to deal with.
Yeah. And we hired him salary, and we gave him like this whole retention thing. And so we have him contractually for a while.
Yeah, no, it's great. Loved movie night the other night. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great for you, but we're just sort of trying to figure out how to hang out with Cal without sort of being exhausted by him.
Yeah, and it's not just the fact that we're sitting with a rat that won't bathe, that won't groom.
Yeah.
Like,
it seems to have like the wrong opinion on most things.
I get you mentioned the movie. We tried to watch something that we could all enjoy, Ratatouille. That's like a famous rat movie.
Well, again, like having, he always seems to have the wrong opinion. He's like, oh, The Godfather 1 and 2 are so bad, but Godfather 3 rocks. It's just stuff like that. Like, I'm like, is this contrarian or is this a rat specific?
For that, I thought it was just because there are no rats that I remember in those films. Like, maybe that's the thing. And so, but yeah, if you put on a movie with any rats in it, then all he does is call out all the facts that he thinks they got wrong. Like, for Ratatouille, he says that they couldn't possibly stay on that guy's head for so long.
Yeah, Cal, you were saying it's too slippery because of the hair oils or something like that?
Yeah, the hair oils, you can try to hold on to them, but you're going to fall off. And for a rat that's too high up, it's a death sentence. So no, that movie's not realistic. They must have had a stuntman or something doing it.
Really? If you drop a rat from
head height,
like 5 feet up, 5.5 feet, 6 feet up, that's a death sentence.
Oh, buddy, yeah. Oh, it's terrible for us rats. That's why we gotta be coddled. We gotta be swaddled. Yeah, okay. It's just, I don't think that's true. I think Cameron's right to call this out. Like, I don't think that's too high up. I think probably you seem to make up a lot of rat facts because.
Well, and you're constantly falling off of things here in our office. And look, I'm not bringing out a measuring tape, but like, it seems like you land on the ground, and what happens when you land on the ground? You just scurry about, which is what you're already doing. Doesn't seem to affect your behavior at all.
Yeah, but once you get that high up, you start to see things, you start to get dizzy. It's the air changes.
You're tripping out on being 6 feet up in the air.
You try it. You try being whatever the human equivalent is of that. I think I have, and it did whatever. So we're trying to just get along. That's before we were trying to get a job thing figured out with Cal. Now it's just how do we get by, and it's not going well. But anyway, Caldera Lab. They create high-performance men's skincare products by combining pharmaceutical-grade science along with nature's purest and most potent ingredients. Kicking off their stellar skincare selection, we have the Regiment Bundle, which is a twice-a-day routine to transform your skin. Inside the bundle, you'll find the Clean Slate, the base layer, and the Good. The Clean Slate is where you start your day. It's a balancing cleanser that uses gentle plant-based cleansing, leaving all skin types exceptionally refreshed. Then you have the base layer, which is a nutrient-dense, fortifying moisturizer that hydrates your skin and absorbs fast, leaving you with a matte finish so you can start your day confidently. And then there's the Good, which is your go-to at night, before bed, and a clinically proven multifunctional serum that helps your skin look tighter and smoother, as well as to reduce visibility of wrinkles and fine lines. I've been using it, and it works great.
Cal and I watched The Departed the other day, and he said at the end when they show that rat, he said the metaphor was not clear enough, which again, I feel like it's just the wrong opinion. You know what I mean? Like, it's just wrong. He said it's just not clear enough when they show that.
And the casting for the rat. Oh, do you think they chose the wrong rat?
Oh, you had an issue with the casting. This movie that is maybe most famous for its casting, just having this stellar cast, they picked the wrong rat, is what you're saying.
Well, it wasn't a perfect casting. Sure, the humans are all right, but the rat, no. Terrible. I could do better.
Did you go out for this part, Cal?
Well,
did you read for this part?
Yeah, they told me to do it differently after I read, and I said no.
Yeah. Both of those things sound right. Both them hearing you and saying, please do that differently, and then also you saying no. Neither of those things are surprising.
Yeah, just
your contract that you negotiated has completely screwed us, and we are stuck with you whether we like you or not. So just chill. Just relax.
So if you want to take your skin further, there's no better than the Icon. It's the rejuvenating eye serum with Caldera Lab that's here to address the 3 most common concerns around the eye, which is fine lines, dark circles, and puffiness. And Caldera Lab is on a mission to better men's skincare around the world. They use clean ingredients. They do right by their customers and the planet. Caldera Lab is a certified B Corporation as well as a member of the 1% for the planet. They don't test on animals. And when Cal we had a little game night. Cal invited his rat friends over. And the other rats were actually phenomenal.
Yeah.
I want them to come back. But Cal, I think he saw that and got jealous.
Well, the other rats hated him. That was the thing that was so weird. He invited them, so I'm like, oh, well, they must be friends. But you would not know it by the way they were in the same room together.
No, and then
it's like he invited a bunch of people who despise him.
And then Cal was up until like 4 a.m. after they left, on the phone, arguing with them on speakerphone, which first of all, it's weird to do, to argue with someone on speakerphone, but it was like very heated, and we had to just kind of tiptoe around while he was furious.
Well, I couldn't even make heads or tails of what they were even arguing about, because it would just be like every 30 minutes I'd sort of try to listen in, and he'd be saying things like Paul Walker deserved it. And I'm just, I don't understand, what is the argument there?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't even want to know. Let's get rid of Cal.
If we can't, contraction, we need another competing company to go after him in a good way. I mean, to employ him. That's really what we need. But all right, Caldera Lab is great. They were smart enough to not involve Cal. So get 20% off with our code JOCKDOC at calderalab.com. That's 20% off at calderalab.com by using code JOCKDOC. Take your skin to the next level with Caldera Lab. Okay, well, that was our producer, Cameron. Also with us is Digital in the House. And later, Cameron tells me that we can expect a special guest.
That's right, Dr. London.
So do look forward to that. But before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. For a long time, our listener demographic was primarily composed of hitmen who lost their pensions. Aww. However, in our efforts to cater to them, we found that we were neglecting the many bot accounts that download our podcast. So, Cameron, could you ask the bathtub toaster for the listener feedback?
Absolutely, Dr. London. Greetings, Jock Doc podcast hosts. I'm a very old AI robot, and I can't keep up with the times. Everything is moving so fast, and I'm worried these younger AI bots will put me out of the job. How can I kill them? Sincerely, Ancient Robot. Ooh, boy. I mean, I'm not going to lie. This is something I think we're all worrying about. These new bots that are coming to replace our jobs.
People worry that AI is going to replace us and whatever. But, the fact is that ageism can play into that. And when they're young, they're spunky, they got the latest microchips and programming, whatever, then yeah, ChatGPT's the hottest one on the block right now, but give it a few years, they could lose their jobs to the younger Zoomer AI. So thank you for listening. Now for today's medical topic, subacute combined degeneration of the spinal cord. Subacute combined degeneration of the spinal cord is characterized by the degeneration of the dorsal and lateral columns of the spinal cord due to demyelination. And so lateral refers to the lateral side, each side of it, and then the dorsal is like the dorsal fin on a dolphin, so it's on the back. So it's those parts of the spinal cord. It's due to demyelination. Myelin are sheaths that surround nerves, and they serve to expedite the speed at which signals travel through nerves. So when
you know what I'm really honestly, what I'm really worried about with these, AI robots taking our jobs. I'm not so worried about, my work, the job I wake up and I grind towards, but more worried about my job as a husband, as a lover, as a support system.
Yeah.
Because if my wife could, find a robot that could listen to her problems instead of me and it's better than me, how do I compete? Or my wife finds a digital lover that is better than me?
Yeah. So I mentioned myelin they help to expedite the speed at which signals travel through nerves. So when demyelination occurs, as is the case in subacute combined degeneration of the spinal cord, that means that those nerve signals slow down. This is most commonly due to a deficiency of vitamin B12 or from neurosyphilis. So clinically, subacute combined degeneration of the spinal cord will present with a loss of position sense and vibratory sense. Position.
You know what she said to me the other day? We were just sitting in bed. We were just reading in bed before, like, it wasn't even a big deal. And she just put the book down and she said, when I was a kid, I told myself that this life would never happen to me. And then she picked up the book and just kept reading. What the hell am I supposed to do with that? It's like my greatest dream is her worst nightmare.
Was she low on batteries? Is that, or like, did you have to plug her in or something? Because
I have no idea.
Because you said she gets super irritable if you don't do all that women's stuff, the stuff they like.
Oh, well, all that women's stuff, and I'm trying to watch the game? Oh, yeah, it sucks.
Right. So position sense is how you can close your eyes and not fall over, which you can test with the Romberg sign. You can Google that, whatever. But along with that sign and the loss of vibratory sense, patients with subacute combined degeneration of the spinal cord will have a history of either digestive or dietary issues in the case of a B12 deficiency, or of symptoms related to syphilis, which would include a past painless genital lesion that went away on its own, followed later by a rash that covers the palms and soles. That comes with syphilis and then progresses to neurosyphilis. So treatment for subacute combined degeneration of the spinal cord is to give B12 to patients in need of that, or in the case of neurosyphilis, you would give penicillin. Fast intervention is key in order to restore function to these nerves. Delay treatment for too long, and the damage can actually become more permanent. So
my 6-year-old Ashley, she ran up to me the other day. She said, "Daddy, I saw Mom happier than I've ever seen her when she was at school talking to the vending machine." And here I am just sitting like a fool. Like, I can't even make my robot wife as happy as a vending machine.
All right, Cameron, you said that we have a guest today. Is that right?
That's right, Dr. London.
All right. Well, hello there. My name is drlondonsmith.com. This is our producer, Cameron. What was your name?
Yes, I go by Kaiser Mayga.
And is that Caribbean? I'm trying to like get this accent down.
So a lot of people think it is Caribbean and so forth, but it's actually Prussian. And that does make a little bit of, but I get what you mean by if it's like Caribbean, because with train and if you go back in history and so forth with colonial rule.
What brings you here today, Kaiser?
Well, really just exploring the options that come my way. I mean, honestly, I really don't know what's going to happen when I open the door into the bright light and just really see what the day has to offer to me.
Right, and that is the usual response whenever I ask, what brings you here, and people say, "I opened the door."
Well, you know what? I let down the drawbridge and came across the moat.
Okay, well, and I hate to like call you out on this, but it does sound like your story's kind of changing on us.
I apologize.
So was it a door or was it a drawbridge moat? Or do you consider those to be the same thing?
I mean, so they both kind of, so I would say, you know what? No, I wouldn't consider them the same. My apologies.
Kaiser Mayga, is this what you came on the show to discuss? I have a feeling it's not, right? Something tells me you've got something on your heart, something you want to talk about.
I kind of do. I mean, if you look at it this way, what's going on in this world and so forth? I mean, ever since inflation hit, and I got this from my grandmother the other day. She states that it's very similar to what occurred when she was a kid during the age of the Depression. I mean, when the farms went out of business because of the drought scenario, that's when the farms went down and then the prices went up and so forth. And then that's when, at the same time,
your grandmother is like 107 years old, right?
Not exactly. So she actually was raised in, I would say she was raised in the late duration as a young child, but she was educated on it as she was growing and so forth. And she also experienced a few measures that she vaguely remembers, and, it's just that one thing that we all have. When we're young as toddlers, we can remember just vague scenarios of our life. I mean, I remember a few areas from my life personally. Like when I was a toddler in Hawaii, I remember seeing like two individuals.
I have two things here. One, a little bit of a stand-up joke I want to try based on the conversation here.
Okay.
What was so great about the Depression?
Boo, you suck. You fucking suck, dude.
Get
off the stage.
Okay, yes, sorry.
Boo, boo.
Well, there was one thing that was good about the Depression. If you needed calories, you just headed on over to your fish fry.
Okay, and they gave that out.
Because food was going for a major cost. Yes, it was given out, and people needed calories like desperately.
What was my second one?
But you're right. There was roughly nothing good about the Depression period. It's just a history lesson. And when you look at it today, it's kind of like, and everybody in general that you run into, when you run into just about anyone who's like somewhat knowledgeable, and I'm referring to like maybe veterans or even individuals that are just base, they're stating that there's going to be a depression within like 6 months and so forth. And then you kind of look back on history and it's kind of like it's repeating itself just slightly, but in a different narrative and a different mode, especially since we're more of like in a futuristic scenario of time.
The most knowledgeable people of all time, the veterans, they're just they know the most about subjects in general.
Well, duh, they've got their ear next to the president, even the Pentagon.
All they all are listening up to the president. And I Kaiser, what I'm picking up on from all this is, and forgive me for being forward in naming you because maybe you're too humble to call it yourself. You sound like you are a professional second-hand historian of finances.
To be frank with you, I would say, you know what? I actually take that as a compliment. I really do. I would say I'm pretty based. Now, look, I'm still learning. There's a ton of knowledge out there, but I would say I've got a good head start. Because I mean, when you look at the whole financial situation in general, this has been going on for over 100 years. And this goes into place with the Rothschilds and Charles Schwab.
Now, Cameron's the one who has experience with children. Who is Roth's child? Because I get that they're little scamps.
So here's the deal. Rothschild, it's not a child. That's actually a name. Mr. Rothschild. The Rothschild family.
Was he named after? Because given surnames often, last names, they come from a person's source of employment historically. I'm a .com. I come from the internet. Yeah.
Well, this is an ancient European name that dates back to the 1800s.
Okay. So it's whenever they were children, whenever they were younger. Okay, that was it. Okay, sorry.
I suppose.
Right. Yeah. It's Mr. Roth's child, Alfie, I think is what we're getting at. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Your take from financial history is going to be a good thing for us, I think, because we have actually been looking to invest.
Wonderful. Well, I can give you a good stock to invest in right now. Guaranteed.
What are we supposed to invest in? We need to invest. We've got all this extra money. Dr. London made over $100 last year, and we have no idea how to invest it.
Simple. Just put it in Nintendo stock. They're going for like $10 a share.
Okay. And so I bought a Nintendo. I bought Breath of the Wild, and so I have that cartridge, and it's super tiny.
Mm-hmm.
What I've found is that, because people say these investments should grow, it's been the same size for years.
Well, at least you've got art value.
I mean, like, it's one of these things, like, I know these things grow, so, like, you give it plenty of sun and water, but it just hasn't done anything. I don't know if it's my bad, investment-wise. Is there a way that you can help me with that? Because that was my Nintendo investment. I really thought I had it. Because it was supposed to be a huge, huge deal, that game.
Mm-hmm. Well, it still is, but if you mint it, then that alone could easily bring the price up. I mean, just go on like, oh my gosh, what was it called again? Price chart. Just go on price chart, and then you'll be able to just get like the determined price of how much it'll be minted at like maybe a PSA 10 or even a Beckett 10.
And when we say minted, is because we have mint leaves, so I'm just wondering, how do I? And you can be honest with me here. Am I going to lose my investment?
Where do we put the money?
Where do you put the money?
Yeah, right? Isn't that ultimately what it is? We've got all this cash.
We've got like
$40
left.
It into the game cartridge, and it doesn't do shit. Yeah.
Oh, so it's already in the cartridge, so you've got like $40 left on hand that you're just trying to put in pretty much, but you can't open it because it's like too locked up or it's just too fat?
I'm out of the $100, I believe 60 of it was invested into the cartridge, and now I'm wondering,
I see.
We have $40 in a cartridge. How are those going to make me a millionaire?
Honestly, at this case, you might as well just go to Pawn Stars and ask Rick Scott for that. Or maybe even Chumley.
We are not allowed at Pawn Stars anymore because I tried to take in Dr. London to see how much he was worth. Because he said that he was worth over $1,000, and I did not believe him.
Well, you could always take him over to Hardcore Pawn in Chicago.
Okay, so we have to, I guess, take the bus, but maybe we can at least get a chore done.
Oh no, why did you have to bring up the C word, Dr. London? Let me explain what you're talking about. Dr. London and I have been neglecting everything on our to-do list for quite a while now. And so we invented this fun chore wheel, and we spin it every single week, and whatever it lands on, that is the task that we have to do. Mr. Mega, would you be so kind to spin the giant wheel that's behind you?
Most definitely. Let's see what we've got here. And let's see, I'm pulling the card out. Let's see what we've got here.
Oh, no, not this one.
No, not this one. We have to do it.
Let's see what we got here. Oh, well, I'll be doggone. I get to come back on whenever I want. I get free showtime.
That's the chore?
I hate that chore.
Hey,
I hate that chore so much.
Hey, here's the deal, though. The chore is you guys got to work for me now. So I guess I am the official takeover.
Hold on. No, I've fallen for this one before.
Dr. London, I don't think so.
Dr. London is our boss.
Hey,
okay? Can you show a little respect?
Hey, Two-Face has made his mark. You got to flip for it. And obviously I flipped for it, and well, I got in his favor, honestly. So, Dr. London,
it's so tough.
I'm going to need to hire you as my personal plastic surgeon. I wish you to enact a disguise shop for me. Make as many disguises as you could possibly make. And because I want to set up a nice
I'm so relieved,
cosplay.
by the way.
I want to cosplay. I want to set up some good cosplay. Yeah. We're going to bring back some real Star Wars cosplay. None of that Disney stuff. I mean, Disney stuff, it's okay, but they don't put enough effort. We got to put in the George Lucas original back into place.
Yeah. God, he's so hot, George Lucas. Jeez, oh my god.
He reminds me of Snow from the Hunger Games because of his white hair, literally.
Oh, I was going to say Snowman.
No,
the Snowman killer, yeah.
Well, I mean, he is a man, and his name is Snow, and he's got white hair to match the snow. Makes me think of Snow White. It makes me think of the Snow White reference, honestly.
Now, sir, what is my job, sir?
Your job, I'm going to elect you as...
Not mayor. Please don't say mayor. Please don't say mayor.
Chief Propaganda Governor.
Oh, thank goodness.
Okay.
That's way safer.
Seems like it involves a lot of graphic design, which, I can do.
Oh, yeah, well, pretty much, because the term propaganda is basically advertisement.
Yeah. Well,
hold on.
What, London?
Are you the chief governor of propaganda or the governor of the chief of propaganda? Like, I want to clarify your title here because my role, I don't want to be...
The little man?
Is there... Yes, I don't want to be the middle. I know plastic surgeons traditionally are the middlemen.
Are you kidding?
This kind of thing.
Are you kidding? They're considered the capital. Well, if you look at it this way, plastic surgeons are now considered the capital doctors of South Korea.
And he's a governor.
You're just trying to figure out who's above who, right? This is a hierarchy question.
Hey, I'm above. Hey, hey, I'm above. Hey, what happened to equality? You guys are at equal. I'll keep you guys in an equal firm. I'll be the
you will
higher.
have to actively manage us.
And is there-
I'm just sorry.
Well, that's fine. I can always hire a few AIs to monitor you guys. I mean, I could always take some advice from Will Smith and bring in iRobot if I need to.
Is there anything I can do to change your mind to make me just a little bit above London? Just like a little?
Well,
And to ignore Will Smith's advice, which is iRobot.
Yeah. Which is that his other advice is Scientology is okay because religions are all the same anyway, and so he might as well join the one that like murders people.
So for Cameron, maybe just micromanage him to keep him at the same level, because if he does rise above me, then there will be.
Hey, I've got a better idea. Why don't we just start you off at a beginning slope, and then whoever earns the most commission gets a higher up position. That's fair, right?
I think that's
Equality.
Fair. It's a meritocracy.
Equality at its finest.
So I'll perform plastic surgery, and Cameron will perform propaganda.
Yes, and whoever does it,
Whoever makes the most money.
Oh yeah, you're gonna make all the cosplay pretty much, and then Cameron's gonna be in charge of advertising, and we'll go from there. Who knows? We could even get the Logan Paul. We could probably get the Paul brothers to come buy a few. Who knows? And before you know it, we're gonna have like maybe some cosplay mythical characters in the WWE boxing ring, and then before you know it, sponsored by Megarian Enterprises.
It's hard to argue with it, honestly, since you're my boss. So I guess we'll go from there.
Yeah, you kind of just have to say, "Oh, okay."
Hey, at least I'm being kind, though. I'm not being a Danny DeVito or a Donald Trump.
Yeah, no, yes. Thank you, boss. You've been so kind, boss.
Can I get Thursday off? Is that an option? Because I have
Thursday off. Oh yeah. Do you also need some mental health days off for your sanity, and I don't know, maybe even a few socialistic days improved upon? I
can't tell if he's mocking you or agreeing with you, Cameron.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's sarcastic. I just need Thursday off.
Well, it starts with
mental
Thursday.
health. It's just.
It's a slippery slope, though. First, you ask for Thursday off, then you need Friday, and then that ties into the weekend. You get Saturday and Sunday. You already got 4 days off during the week. I mean, like,
it is a slippery slope to ask for a day off.
Yeah, it is a slippery slope.
So, are you cool with the slope then? If you're good with that slope, then yeah, I guess.
Wait, are you telling me I can't take Thursday off, and you're also asking if you can stay at my place?
I'm just making an example, but hey, why not? Free food's free food.
It seemed like it was a couch,
fine.
but now it's food as well. Okay.
Yeah, and don't forget your Paramount Plus subscription that I'll be borrowing, your Netflix subscription, HBO Max subscription, Disney Plus. I'll need to borrow it all and keep it on my phone.
You need all
of
them?
You borrow them?
You're gonna...
I'm just borrowing them.
Just turn
I'm
on
borrowing them.
Okay. No, it's look, our boss knows better. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, on that note, I guess I think we've did the chore. You're the boss.
Hey, London, you don't complete your chore until you wipe the floors like Cinderella did first. Don't forget the Windex.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. No. Thank you. Sorry, sir. But real quick, do you want to shout out any? Are you a fan of anyone out in the world? Do you want to give a shout out to anyone you're a fan of?
Anyone I'm a fan of? Well, let me think.
Especially like their Instagram handles or that kind of thing.
I see. You know what? I think I'd like to shoot a shout out to, oh my gosh, it's so hard to choose, honestly. You know what? I got one. I'd like to do a shout out to two singers and influencers I'm a fan of personally. I'd like to put a shout out to Cash and Maverick Baker. They're musicians out of Dallas, Texas, I believe. They used to be LA, but they ended up relocating over to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I believe. Anyway, I'm a really big fan of their music and their content, what they bring, and so forth, and even keeping the topic alive in the Christian sense.
Okay, and so you aren't a fan of someone who like maybe has the same name as you on Instagram? Like a Kaiser Mayga type.
Oh, the same name as me? Oh, in this case, then I would want to put a shout out to Kaiser Beer, manufactured in Greece. They make a mean beer around Oktoberfest and so forth.
So those are the two. Okay. All right. Well, thank you to.
But if you had to choose one, just go for the Kaiser Beer.
Okay. If it comes down to that, then yeah.
Hey, Dr. London, settle down. You could use a Kaiser Beer.
Yeah, well, with this work schedule,
That's an order.
I got to scrub. Okay. Anyway.
You got to take it easy. That's an order. I'm your boss.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you to our producer, Cameron. Thank you to Digital in the house.
Let's see what we got here. Oh, well, doggone. I get to come back on whenever I want. I get free showtime.
I get to come back on whenever I want. I get free showtime.
No, here's the deal though. The story is you guys got to work for me now. So I guess I am the official takeover.
I get to come back on whenever I want. I get free showtime. Time.